We'll have a presentation by Mailen from Spain. She's a creative designer. She has a lot of experience as a speaker, but it will be her first time in English.
Yes.
She helped organize WordCamps. She spoke at a lot of WordCamps. And today she will share her experience and why designing before implementation is not double work. Thank you, Mailen.
Thank you so much. Okay, let me start with a question. How many of you have started a website project without designing first? Okay. And you guess what? Every time I did this project with no design first, I used to look like this poor guy over here. Why? Because you're not thinking about the whole process, and just maybe the client is hurry and you create a lot of rush in a lot of process, and you're missing a lot of things in the middle, and your hero section looks boring like a typical website, or the colors you're using don't match, and the client don't like it, and you don't know why. Why are you doing wrong? So that's what I think, that not design first is tripling the work, but something so important, with drama included. Let's talk about that drama. First, you don't have any plan because you're just doing the implementation like with the eyes covered. And that creates delays. So you, as a freelance, you don't want to see the second payment like 3 months after because it's not good for you. And also, if you don't have any steps, you can't. If you're taking a huge website, like a huge project, you're gonna think like this project is a monster for you, but it's not really not. That will cause you stress, and probably you will get too much frustrated. Also, you don't have any feedback because nobody is seeing the design before or while you're creating the website. So this means that you're gonna make a lot of mistakes because you're not alignment with the client expectations, or you're not alignment with your teammates, and you work in your own way. So that means that all the things you do, probably you will have to do a lot of rework. And of course, still counted. So to just keep in mind these things in a short way, for me, not designing first is like cooking with no recipe. You got the ingredients, but you don't have the process. So maybe if you want to try create these cool cookies, so cute, maybe you will have this, and you don't want your website look like the second image, right? And maybe it's not as it should be, and of course you don't like the final result. But let's keep positive. Let's see what are the benefits of designing first. Why it works. First, you gain a lot of clarity and structure. This is so important because a lot of people told me that maybe we don't have too much, or we don't have like a big budget to start. I always say that is not a problem, actually, because your budget if you want to add more things, you just can add a pen and a pencil. That's it. A notebook, a library, and with that you can create some wireframes. They don't have to look like so fancy or like the final result. No, you can do it like sketching, and like this one, the second one is like pretty bad, some sketches. And with that, what you're gaining is you're seeing the full structure of your website. So you can play with the hierarchy and, of course, create better funnels. You can choose the order of the sections. You can just prioritize the content you want to prioritize. And because in a homepage, for example, we have a lot of sections, and everything is important, but you have to prioritize the content, because if you don't do it, the user is gonna get lost. Also, one of the main important parts of the website is the hero, because you just have like a tiny milliseconds to grab the people's attention. And then, if you design first, you can create and focus the design, for example, to create this wireframe of a hero, but it's focused to show it an image in the background. And you have like a big text in front, and maybe the CTA, the call to action, below that. But you want to prove more type of heroes, maybe this one. If your website has a video, you want to put a video in the hero, you can try and move the elements and put it in another unconventional parts. And also you can create, like, you can go outside the box, because when you're just designing in like 2 columns, for example, you keep doing the typical hero that has an image on the left and the text on the right, or inside out. But you can create things more creative. Like, for example, this hero has like a bento Greek design. So you can just play with all the types of heroes you can think, or making the same structure that is going to work for your project. Maybe this could work for an e-commerce, for example. And you're able to choose what hero do you want to use for your project. And as I said, if you have a really big website, you don't stress, because you're seeing all the phases, and you're separating these phases to get into the first one, to the second, to the third one, and then like the sketch, the wireframe, the prototype, and finally the development. Another benefit is that the final result will look way more polished. This is so important because we can be a lot of more memorable for the users. And let's talk about the colors. I see a lot of mistakes in websites that they are done designing first with the colors, because, as I said, you're seeing the full structure of the website, so you can see what percentage of each color are you using. If you are maybe using a lot of the accent color, or if you're using a lot of the black and you don't want it. So you don't choose like random colors and mix it there. I recommend you to do that, because you can use the magic rule in design that we call is 60, 30, and 10. So you have like the main colors in this design could be maybe the black and the white, that is like the main colors, the primary colors, and the secondary could be yellow, probably, and the orange and the violets are the accent colors. So if you do it in this way, everything is gonna be like in a more better way. Also, you can apply this to the typographies, the fonts you're using, because also you don't want your WordPress with a lot of local fonts because you're just trying, and don't use your WordPress site just for testing and you upload like 10 fonts and then you just use 2 maybe. So if you want to choose some fonts and try it how it look like, you do this in Figma or whatever tool you're using for design, and you can compare the fonts and then move it to WordPress. Also here, we are seeing a great scale because, again, we don't want to use the sizes of the fonts in a random sizes. We want to create something that has like a more coherent layout. So we can do this if we design it first only and not putting like one font in pixels, another in, I don't know, in rem or am. You have to create something that is in the same way. Here is an example of it's a screenshot of a website, old website, that obviously is not designed first. And one of the great forgotten is the white space. There's not white space here because it's also an element in design. But when you're just doing directly, you don't think about the white space. You just forget it. And of course, this design, it needs to breathe. And also, again, you don't choose the space in a random way as the colors and the fonts. The space gives you that equilibrium as well with the layout and the alignment, the micro spaces and the micro spaces between each element. So this is so important to for your eyes. Maybe think that layout is gonna look well. And if we talk about the graphics, let's imagine that you have a brand and the client gives you the logo or the brand identity, and this brand has these cool graphics. Probably also if you're maybe using a page builder like Elementor or Bricks or just Gutenberg, if you're going to try this hero, not designing the first, you're gonna put the text and the buttons in one column or the other, but probably you will just drag an image alone, not an image with mixed elements or graphics, or as I see below over here, that we have like a tiny text about, I don't know, social proof, whatever. More sections that creates like a complex design. Also, if you are thinking about like if you want to your website looks with more personality, you will need to design it first. Because as I said, if you're using a page builder, the page builder, for example, if we take a look at these buttons are special. They are not common. So you cannot just have this design with any tool you're using. You have to use your creativity and test the things that how gradients maybe are are creating the contrast with the background and maybe thinking outside the box, because it's not common to have this type of buttons. If we look at this type of boxes that have like that type of cutting in one of the vertices, and also you can think, but yeah, I can create this with CSS because it's just a clip path. It's an attribute, but you're not thinking about how are you going to develop this, because also if you don't know anything about CSS, now with the AI, maybe with ChatGPT, if you see this button and you take a photo and you send them to him and you ask, how can I do that? He will tell you that you can use a clip path, and even if you ask for the code, ChatGPT will do it for you. So that means that you don't have like any limits to design and any limits for your projects. Also, it's important to share more than one proposal, so the client can choose. Maybe if they ask to put the website, and I want to see how it will look like in light mode and in dark mode, okay, you just have your design and you duplicate it, and you can compare both in the same time, not using like a staging site and you create one staging for the white and another for the dark. No, because also if you duplicate the pages, it's not a good practice. One of the things that happened when I was working in an agency, one of my friends, Brian, he was just playing around with the design and he duplicates in WordPress. He was just using the pages in WordPress in production site. And we want to share to the client another homepage, like with another structure, another colors, because he didn't like the first one. And I remember one of the persons of the SEO department came and he told him that, Brian, the the home-2 is indexed in Google. And Brian was like, oh, what am I going to do now? You just can't, you must wait. So Google put that page down, but this is not a good practice. So you just have to share the prototyping and not the development. Also, it's very good because you can show functionalities and interactions. If we look at this form, it's not like a typical form. It's like a conversational form, no? It's in Spanish, but it says, hi, my name is Elon Musk, for example. And I want to talk to you about whatever it is the subject. I'm interested in your service, and I have a budget about 44 billions. And yeah, all the input you want to put inside. If the client, in this case, that is a real website, you can, maybe if you ask me later, I will show you this website exists. But when I was working with Sandy, that is the owner of this website, we were thinking about how the things that he wants to ask and what are the inputs that we are going to put there, and maybe change the order or whatever you are going to change. It's a lot more easy to change that in a design, not in a real form, because maybe you don't have any idea what plugin are you using for the form, if you're using a plugin or if you're using a native form from the tool you're using, or if you code the form, I don't know. You're just not thinking about it. And the same as these blocks, for example. You have taxonomies, categories, you have a search input, a search filter, and 2 templates, like one for the future one and another for the grid below. But you don't think you don't have to think how to develop this, or also you can do it in a short way, because this is going to take you much less time than if you develop this. And also, if we see this animation or in elections, you can see that we can show maybe a mega menu, how the colors we're going to change when you hover it, when the cursor is hover the cards. And you can do it in minutes, not in days. So that's why I was talking about everything. If you just get struggling with the CSS, with creating classes, the same with this animation, for example, create absolute position for the image, classes for the colors, the different colors, it's a waste of time. So, because maybe if the client says at the end, I don't like it, or can we do it in another way, you're not able to keep all the time you spend again to, you're just wasting the time, and you are not aligning maybe with that. And at the end, the design first helps everyone, not only you, because we are your team or the people you're working with, we are all in the same tram. Yeah, it not only helps you, it helps the client, it helps the CEO guy over there, it helps Brian, it helps all the people that are involved in the project. And also you have less emails, you have fewer things to, I don't know, fewer mistakes, less meetings also. And yeah, that helps everyone in the team. And just a quick recap. Oops, sorry. Keeping in your minds that finally, designing first, you can have a better flow, and your message is gonna have like a great impact on your content, even if you have good copies in your website. So that's better for you. Also, you have like unique website with personality and limits design. The limit is your ideas in your brain. And of course, you will give more value, and trust me, you can get paid more for your projects. So we like that. And that's why designing first basically is not double work. For me, it's smart work. And that will save you in the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mylan. Questions already?
Hello. Thank you so much for this amazing presentation, Mylan.
Thank you.
I just wanted to mention I used to do design first when we were slicing images in Photoshop or Dreamweaver or whatever, like 20 years ago. Then with the advent of page builders, I stopped doing it, and like 3 or 4 years ago, I started designing first again. And one thing that helped me, besides all the points you made, and perfect, is it allows me to draw a line and to prevent feature scope, because clients can be very, very annoying when it comes to, well, I like this version, why don't you try it like blue or a logo a bit bigger or whatever? And you never know how to say, well, stop. I'm not getting paid to do all these changes. And when you do design first and you approve a mockup, which is in Figma, and you say to the client, change whatever you want, because for me it's just pushing pixels. It's not, I don't have to code anything. And I'm saying to my clients, once this stage is done, once you approve the design, there's no turning back. It's a line where you do, when you say to the client, the changes stop, here. And that allows me to overcharge them if they change their ideas in the coding process. So just, it's not a question, it's just an adding to your,
A conclusion,
presentation.
yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
To you. Thank you, thank you.
Fernando, ajuda a trazer o microfone.
Yeah, thank you for the presentation. And after Antonio cooperation with the presentation, I have a question, and I still have that question. Is that we should imply a limit for design changes during the process of creating the design, and what is the best politics for it, in
Yeah.
your opinion?
Yeah, you have to put limits, of course, because that's, if you don't put limits, that would be like a long project and maybe a year project. So you don't want that. But yeah, you have, I think you in the budget or whatever the type you're working with, you have to clarify how many revisions or check has your your design or your design process. So the client, when you maybe when they don't like something, they know how much feedback or how many times you are going to change that and make the revision. So it's not unlimited. So he knows that first. And also you can, for me, something that works a lot is also this, but another thing is to create mood boards, because there are a lot of websites with a lot of different styles, and if you want to be alignment that the client would like the design and how the look and feel, you can present then the design with maybe, I don't know, like Pinterest boards, or maybe do a great research of like a web for different website that maybe he will like, and you can create maybe 2 mood boards, ask the client, you want to go this way or another way. So because it happens also that if you if in this is in this in the beginning, if you don't research, also you design something like is like almost finished, no, and the client says, oh, I wasn't looking for this, so you have to change everything. So the mood boards is also help, it also helps.
I might have one final question. Things are evolving fast lately with the tools. Do you know any, I'm a developer, more or less. Do you know any magic tool, to reduce our time so then we turn your design directly into the WordPress site?
Yeah. If you want to try, one is it's not free, of course. That automation, and it's almost doing your work, so it's not
Yes.
gonna be free. But if you want to try it, there is a plugin. Well, it's a tool for Figma that is called FigPress. So it's Figma to WordPress, and it has Breakdance, Elementor, Gutenberg, Bricks, I think. So you can try if you want. I didn't try it, but I tried another ones. I tried Fignail. That was, I think, the first one, and but that is
But
not
things are
double work.
evolving fast.
It's quadruple the work.
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
because
Thank you.
it took for you a lot to optimize the containers, optimize, because okay, maybe the design is the same as you had in Figma,
But the
but with a lot of
code,
divs and containers.
yes.
So
But things are evolving.
yeah,
Thank you. One last.
thank you.